the successful students from the last match. So what we have planned for today is going over, after the introduction, some of the important considerations for IMGs that you should be aware of. Then we'll have a panel discussion with our students on what worked for them, what challenges they faced. And then we'll talk about how we can help you, how our team can help you, and close it off with some of the unique interview experiences that our students have faced. But I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Am I audible?
Sure.
Everyone? Yes. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure the attendees can hear. All right. So why don't we start with introduction? So this is our panel for today. Hopefully you can all see the screen. So Rahul, do you want to get started?
Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. My name is Rahul Punala. I'm a gastroenterologist, and we've been doing this for a few years now. And, we've sort of put together a group of people who are very interested in teaching and, mentoring, and so hopefully this will be very helpful for you. So.
Thanks, Rahul. So Dr. Nandita Khera will be joining us later today, I think in about an hour or so. By the way, my name is Pawan, and I'm a faculty at Carnegie Mellon and now also at ASU. Being a former program director, I teach courses in healthcare analytics. And let's talk or give it over to some of our guests. So who wants to start? Ravali, do you want to start?
Sure. My name is Ravali. I am an IMG from Andhra. I matched this year, so that's great news.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you. Etisham, since you have the next picture, I think the very excited one.
Thanks for putting that, actually. So, hey guys, I'm Etisham. I'm from Hyderabad, India, also a foreign medical graduate, and I matched in internal medicine in Chicago at Weiss Memorial Hospital. This is the third time I was actually trying for the match, so it's been a long journey, and then I've learned a lot, and then I'm here to share it with you guys.
Okay. Shailaja, you next. And I do not have a picture for you, but let me put you on screen. Yep. Shailaja, I think you're muted. You may be muted. Okay, now we can hear you.
Now? Okay.
Yes.
So hi, this is Shailaja here. I actually have had a much longer journey, not particularly for the USMLEs, but in my entire training. But I fortunately matched this year in internal medicine at the University of Nevada in Reno. I'll tell you my story a bit more in length later when we talk.
Thank you. And I heard, is that Nandini who joined?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Hey, Nandini, can you introduce yourself, and I'll enable your video also in a minute.
Okay, so
Yep.
my name is Nandini, and I'm from Chennai, India. My USMLE journey is also a long one. I applied for the first time in 2014 actually, and I finally matched this year at University of Kansas. And when we talk about our experiences, I'll be happy to tell you about my journey.
Okay, thank you, Nandini. And Mridula, I see you on the chat. Are you on the phone? Okay, maybe she'll join. So Nandini, your video can now be enabled. You can start it. You can share it. Meanwhile, as we get started, some other members of your team and a couple of them, I'm sure all of you interacted with, known, Dr. Zishan Mansoori, of course, very active on Facebook, Karthik Raghunandan, again, GI fellow, very active on Facebook, and some of the other ones we have, as you can see, Dr. Manisha Jham, Sandhya Kharbanda, and Dr. Mohit Jham. So we are a group of former IMGs and guiding the IMGs in the quest for their residency match services, having an intricate knowledge. This is, informally we've been doing it for about 5 to 6 years, third formal year. We have a very strong panel, as you can see on our website, and we provide very customized services to our students. All right, so very quickly, I want to just go over some of our results that you may be interested in for this year before I head back to the video. So we had more than 150, between 150 and 200 students. So this is what you can see about our, some of the students' performance. So first is the year of graduation range and the number of interviews. So in spite of what you may be hearing, if you are an older graduate, so, you can see the range 2011 to 2007. They still get a good number of interviews. About 15% of our interviews were from, so-called older graduates. The graduates between 2012 and 2014 got a chunk of interviews, which is 56, higher chunk. And then the most recent graduates, about 31% of the interviews. In terms of their experiences and how that correlated to the interviews they got, so if you had substantial USCE and or research, and students have multiple, of these, so that's not mutually exclusive category. People have both USCE and research. So they got about 53% of the interviews. Prior residency, many of our students have prior residency, so that's about 17% of the interviews. If you got clerkships, electives, about 12%, and then US Masters. So many students have US MPH and Global Health, so that's about 12% of the interviews. How scores related to the interviews for our students, as you can see, step one, so a lot of students between 230 and 250, that's almost 45% of the interviews. But it's not that only with higher scores you get the interviews or you eventually match. As you can see, between 210 and 230 was about 23%. 8% of the interviews actually about less than 210 or so scores. So that's very encouraging. And the remainder 24%, which is not reflected here in the description, is actually 250 plus. So if you have higher score, obviously in step one you can expect more interviews. Then the second is the CK score. So same kind of story, 230 to 250, about 42% of our students. And this is not normalized for the number of students. So, we get a lot of students in a particular category. So obviously the number of interviews may increase in that category. 250 plus, about 34% of the interviews. And again, the good news is even less than 220, you get your fair share of interviews. So it's not only. All right. So with that, with a brief overview of our services, I want to now turn it over to Dr. Pannala, who will walk you through some of the challenges that IMGs face, and how you can mitigate some of those challenges. So I am going to turn it over to Rahul.
5 minutes, I wanted to kind of hit the highlights of what we've seen that international medical graduates face as challenges in terms of trying to match and trying to get successful. So I want to get your opinion. What do you guys think are the major factors that determine the success in
All
the
right,
match?
now can you guys see the chat? I think the chat is now.
So because this will really enable and help you plan in terms of what you need to do to be successful. So let's see what people think.
So USC scores, connections probably, contacts, research,
Excellent.
quality of work experience. Nandini, you will be on the panel, but it's okay. Or maybe it's some other now.
It's me.
Is it you or is someone else?
It's me.
Yeah, this pop quiz is not for you, but anyway.
Excellent. So I think you guys are all hitting on the big topics. Can you advance the slide?
Yes.
So, this is a survey that NRMP puts out. This is for what program directors look for. What are the factors that program directors look for when they invite people for an interview? So if you can look at them, so this is sort of the person citing factor and this is the rating. But if you see, the most important thing that comes are the scores, your letters of recommendation, your medical school evaluations. This is more for the U.S. medical graduates, but even for foreign graduates, I think, how you did in medical school can be very important. Then it comes to a personal statement and obviously here, which school you went to and all that stuff. But you see, even if you come down, gaps in medical education, things like that, and your commitment to the specialty. So the point being, you have to really build a composite package. It's not just one thing that is going to get you that interview. So you have to do well in your exams, you have to do well in medical school, but then even after that, you have to really supplement that with U.S. hands-on experience, clinical clerkships, do some research, do something that puts you over and above. And once you do that, you then have to package that application and project it in a way that that puts you at the best chance of getting an interview. So, next slide, please.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just texting some of the other students again. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Rahul. Yeah. Can you see the next one?
CS is in last. No, I don't think CS. See, the thing with the CS, just to clarify that comment, clinical skills is very important. I think the way it works is most program directors expect you to pass it in your first attempt. So if you pass it in your first attempt, then it's one of those things that it's sort of you're expected to do. But if you do have an attempt on that, then that raises some red flags. So no, that's a good question. I think the last thing is consistency of grades. The CS thing comes below here because I think for U.S. graduates and for most foreign graduates, program directors sort of expect you to pass it, but they don't. It's not a big factor because it's something that people expect you to get going. Now then it comes to ranking applicants. So once you're at the interview, the dynamic changes, right? All that stuff, the scores and this and that is what buys you a seat at the table. But once you get a seat at the table, it's how you perform when you're in that seat that tends to then make you go over to the next step of getting that spot. So the most important thing, as you can see on this, is how you interact with people, what you tell and how you do. So that tends to become the most important thing, because the way the program directors or anybody goes is they're looking across the table and looking at you and saying, is this person a good fit in our program, and can I work with this person for the next 3 years, and can this person work with us for the next 3 years? and will he or she be happy here? So those are the factors that really determine, and that's where the interview preparation, how you project yourself, what you tell them, what kind of vision you sell them becomes so important. And then, as you can see, one of the important things, scores do come up obviously when they rank you because, but it's again a balance. Letters of recommendation become very important. Most people just go straight to the letters before they interview someone. So letters of recommendation.
I just want to interject here. We will be taking questions at the end, guys. So, if you can, unless something is very, very urgent, we will be stopping for the questions at the end. Just breaks the flow. So if you can just have some patience. It's a long presentation. So sorry, Ram.
Oh, no worries. Thanks. So this is just to give you a flavor for what are the things that you really need to focus on as you prepare an application. So next slide.
Yeah. So, and I see Mrudula has joined. So thank you, Mrudula. We'll get your introduction shortly.
So the point being, I think, is that this is a process. This is not just you take your steps, you get your scores, and you apply. You have to put a composite package together. You have to present yourself. You have to do all this. And so it starts with your application, having all the components of the application in order, getting your scores in time, putting your personal statement together, putting together personal, professional, and volunteer experiences. If you're doing research, how you leverage your research. If you have some gaps, low scores, other flags, then how you address your gaps. And then finally nailing the interviews. And what our mission is to sort of help you along the process. But also one thing we want to really, why we are doing this so early on, is to really hit home the fact that everything that is on this slide really takes time. And the time to start planning, the time to start doing this is now. I mean, so you really have to start thinking now. If you start in August and say, I have to put everything together, then that's not going to that's not going to give you the best shot. So, our goal really, why we put this together, is to help people sort of navigate this complex process because, like all of you, we've been through this and we've had, all of us have had the highs and the lows. And so that's sort of what I had to say. I think that's all I had.